All right, Big Man. Today is Thursday. It is August 5th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. Two guests today. I'm in studio here. Chief Dante. Another free swim. So I'm going to be kind of adding these in. I don't know how people liked it last week, but I kind of enjoyed it. So I'm going to keep rolling with it here and there and just kind of talk about whatever the fuck we want. Today's going to be heavily Woodstock 99 based. I tweeted it out last night for people to watch the doc on HBO. I thought it was fascinating. And it's one of those things, you know, when you watch something and you're like, I just need someone to talk about it with. Well, this was that.
Good thing you have a platform for that.
I know. But usually it's just like, you know, it's like, oh, dude, like, will you watch this show? Like, I need someone to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And this was it. This was like, did you guys feel that way after? Were you like, because you saw it before I texted you, right, Dante?
Yeah. I actually, when they dropped the trailer a few months ago, I was like, wow, this is going to be fucking awesome. And then I saw Bill Simmons was involved and got kind of less excited a little bit. And then
really,
I feel like he's the father of the 30 for 30s, which were always good.
He agreed, but he's very not partisan, but he's very biased. And I mean, I think it can. We'll get into it when we get in it, but it definitely came across in this.
See, I feel Bill Simmons generally does a good job on these types of things.
On docs, yeah.
Yes.
I hate when he's the host of a show, but I feel like 30 for 30 those are usually hits for him.
For sure.
Yeah, and I don't like, you know.
And I enjoyed this too, so.
At the same time as the founder, I don't know how much he's actually doing on it, right?
On what?
Like there was a director, there was producers, like they did everything. They probably just bring it to him as like an extra eye, and like he probably fleshes out like the main top line ideas about. Because what we're going to get into, one of the most frustrating parts about it was the way you could find the doc on HBO Max. Fucking stupid. You couldn't just type in Woodstock. Nobody could find it.
It's a bad app.
I had to text Ed because I was like losing my mind, just doing the voice command on Comcast, like going through, because usually when you do it, you can just scroll through and it will like list every title under HBO On Demand that's also the app.
Yes.
And I wanted to murder someone.
So I pound out like every music documentary under the sun on there. HBO does have the best ones, by the way. Like the Bee Gees one they did is like one of the best things I've seen in years. But it came up automatically for me. But I texted a bunch of other people and they were like, it's not on HBO. I was like, it's on HBO.
Yeah.
They produced it. They like could not find it.
Because it's a 6-part series, or it's a 6-part miniseries, but it's all its own thing.
Okay, so this was episode 1.
Yes, so it's Music Box. There's one that's on Juice WRLD that's coming out. That's going to be one of the 6. There's, I forget exactly the other 4, but I know Juice WRLD's one of them. But still, like, put it under what? Like, what are we doing here? Why make it harder for people? And you're right. HBO's their interface stinks.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Hulu, but it's bad.
Yeah, it's not as bad as Hulu. I agree, but it is bad. Like everything is a pain in the ass to find. But before we do get into it, though, I want to say that this podcast is brought to you in part by Miller Lite. It's a summer. We're just talking about it earlier. How it's Thursday, everyone's kind of jonesing for the weekend, and to have a couple Miller Lights, right?
I mean, there's nothing better. That is like I've experimented with some of these Rattlers and these other IPAs and things like that. I don't feel good after drinking those. You give me that Miller Lite, I'll have one of those. I'll be refreshed. I'll feel good about myself. It's the perfect, crisp, delicious light beer.
You're Dante. You're a bar owner. You know a nice Miller Lite guy when they show up. You know they're ready to take down some buckets.
Only the best, man. Especially this time of year. I mean, I was just golfing last week and probably went through half a dozen front 9. Played the best back 9 of my life, and I credit it all to Miller Lite.
Great golf beer.
You know what I like about Dante's spot? They do the 16-ounce ones, the tall boys.
Oh, there you go.
Miller Lights. So the same white can, just a little taller. It makes you feel great.
I mean, yeah, stop. There's so many options, but Miller Lite's always there for you. So next time you're getting ready to enjoy cold ones with your crew, go to MillerLite.com/redline to find the delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. I also do want to say, aside from this doc related, you have a big series that's dropping today.
Barstool backstage, man. Finally packaged, put a bow on it. Comes out 1 o'clock today, Eastern. Really excited. First episode, Little John. Had my spot forward. You were there.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a night. I mean,
sick.
what did you think?
It was sick. It's funny because I was talking to your partner, and I didn't realize at the time because it's just like, yeah, hey, Little John, you want to go? But from a business standpoint, he's like, everyone fucking laughed at us when he said we want to put an outdoor club in Cleveland. And I'm like, damn, I may have laughed too.
Yeah.
But like, let me tell you, the product that came out from it is
Sick.
awesome. It's very cool. And it's like, I mean, I don't know. It's just.
We've got it. Are you coming for the Jake Paul fight in a couple weeks with
What
Dave and
are you guys
everybody?
doing there?
We got a call today. I got a call with Gaz and Erica
nice.
later today. We're trying to put together something for that weekend.
Damn.
So
That'll be a big
You
weekend.
might have to return to Cleveland, Ed.
Maybe. Yeah. It was honestly, I had
Stay
a
away
blast.
from Put-in Bay this time. But,
No, I love putting back. No,
but yeah,
it was
Little
sick.
John is just like fucking electric.
It was great. We sat down with him. So what's the premise, Dante?
So it's going to be kind of a peek behind the scenes, one-on-one, two-on-one interviews with these acts. Basically, now that live music is back and we're able to go to shows again, it's great from a guest standpoint, but it's almost even better from the artist standpoint. I mean, these people went a year without being able to do what they do for a living in front of people. So now that it's back, everybody just appreciates it so much more. And, it's going to be talking about what they're looking forward to most, what they missed the most, what they worked on for a year, upcoming projects. And then it's just going to be a showcase of, the actual show and the performance. So,
Yeah. No, it's cool. Like, I think, like, with big-time artists, a little bit of old school spliced in Barstool blackout videos of people going nuts with actually a look behind the curtain of what these people are like when it's backstage. Like, you're in the green room with them, and like you see what Little John's sipping on, and you talk to him for like 10 minutes and see what's up.
The trailer is awesome.
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer. The
Very
trailer
good
was
job.
sick. And then what a way to open up the series. Lil Jon. Like, that's a name that literally everyone knows, and everyone knows his like catchphrase.
yeah, we got some really big ones. I don't want to spoil, but going out to do Pauly D tomorrow night and really lay into him about his dozen power rankings. He's a huge dozen fan. He just does not know what the fuck is going on though. Like power
Wait, like
ranking
the
wise.
show?
Oh yeah, huge dozen. He watches every episode.
What?
You didn't know this?
No.
Oh, dude, he
Like the trivia show that we
yes.
The
Pauly D.
Jeff DeLoe.
Yeah. He's like Jeff's like he like comments on all Jeff's posts.
do. Are
like,
you serious?
Yeah, he put out a top 10
You didn't
power
know this?
ranking. He put out a top 10 power ranking, and my team, the Misfits, were like 8. We came in second place, mind you, before
Pauly
Dave
D
Did
from the
we make
Jersey
the top
Shore
10?
yes,
watches the dozen trivia on Barstool
is
Sports.
obsessed with it.
Really?
Yeah, so we're gonna like talk about that, and also DJing.
You knew this?
Yeah. I knew
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
So,
funny.
I tried. I'm fingers crossed Jeff can make it as like a surprise drop in. This isn't gonna air like ahead of time, right? But yeah, I want to like bring Jeff.
It's airing today.
It comes
Oh,
out
all right.
today.
Well, whatever. Paulie's not gonna. No offense, but Paulie's not gonna listen to this. But I want to bring Jeff out from like behind the curtain.
That'd be funny. Wow, I'm stunned.
Yeah.
That's cool though. That's really cool.
Thanks.
All right, yeah. So go check that out. Drops today. I mean, it'll probably be live by the time this podcast is live. So definitely go check it out. Worked real hard on it. And yeah, where do you guys want to start here with this Woodstock thing? It's one of those things where you realize how awesome disaster TV is.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So well said.
like
This-
whether it be like I don't know, like a Fire Fest or whatever.
This
These
made-
things I could keep pumping them out.
Firefest looked like a vacation compared to this thing. This place looked like literally my personal hell on earth. Like if someone was like, hey, like, you know how the people have that concept of hell, like it's whatever your worst nightmare is? This is mine.
That's
Where it's
literally what Cheryl said last night too.
500,000 people And within 6 hours, the entire field is just covered with literal human shit and piss because they didn't have enough like plumbing and porta potties and things got knocked over. So then people are like, "Oh, let's roll around in the mud. It'll be fun." It's not mud, idiots. You're just rolling around in your own shit and other people's shit. It was like I was ill like watching parts of this documentary. It was that disgusting.
Did you mention it was actual 100 degrees? It was triple
That
digits.
too, and I fucking
That's what
hate
I
the heat.
couldn't like. That's when you start questioning like fucking higher powers and stuff. Like, dude, have you ever been up there? Like Rome, New York? It's like
I've driven through.
I was in Saratoga last week.
so. Yeah. So you're right up by there. It's not. It does not get that
Rarely,
hot.
yeah.
For it to be 100 degrees up there that whole weekend.
It's like God wanted this to
Like
be a fucking
smite
disaster.
these people. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it's unbelievable. Dude.
Dante, do you have any memories of this, like when it happened?
No, that was like the weird thing is like I was in prime MTV age, like it was middle school.
Yeah, same.
And it was the best channel on TV, like just 24/7.
Ridiculousness, like as much of it as you can.
I
possibly
remember
get.
them cutting in and like the Kurt Loder like cut-ins and all that, and it just looked like fucking like everything live MTV did, like Spring Break, all their award shows and everything. There was lots of like live performances back then in the 90s. Everything you were like, man, I would kill to be there. So seeing these cut-ins of Woodstock, even I don't remember the negative stuff as much, but you were still like, oh man, would fucking kill to be there.
I remember seeing the stories. I want to say that we were visiting my grandmother who lived in Connecticut. I remember seeing the stories on like the local news, and that it was a disaster. Like I don't remember the MTV cut-ins as much, but I remember hearing like, oh, like this looks terrible. But then you heard like the band names, and it was like all the bands that everybody listened to. It was Limp Bizkit and Counting Crows, Alanis Morissette.
I mean, the lineup is insane.
It was
Yeah,
everybody
it was
that was
crazy.
anybody.
Insane.
Kid
You put that
Rock.
on now, I think it would be like the biggest concert of the year.
They should-
I really do.
Yeah.
Like that's just like people love nostalgia. Like I think it'd be big.
Chili Peppers. I mean, it was like fucking literally everybody. Metallica.
Yeah, so were you guys? How old were you at the time in '99?
13.
13.
I wasn't in high school yet. Wait, I'm older than you though.
Yeah, you
I
are.
think I was like 14 or 15. then.
14. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
I was. Not, I don't really remember at all. And you
Yeah.
guys, you guys were still on the East Coast then, right? Or no?
I was living in Illinois,
Oh, you-
but I was.
okay.
I think we were visiting my nana in Connecticut.
Who
We
you-
used to do all the summers out there. The whole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would make a difference or not. But like you said, it was on MTV.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess where you start is it took a lot of heat. A lot of people thought it was too woke. And it kind of blamed like the white male for everything.
Yeah.
Big time.
I was like, what is going on here?
And
Like
it was like a curveball too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you were watching it and like it starts out day one, and if it was just that day one, like as Eddie said, it would have been like a fucking amazing concert. Like that DMX footage
that looked unbelievable.
was like, whoa. And then the minute like My Dogs and that whole like
Yep.
medley with the crowd comes on where they're dropping the N-word every other like verse.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Every other lyric.
Then it took a turn and it was like very political, I felt.
Yeah, but he also like DMX has eyeballs. Like it also just feels like it was a different time. Like he was inciting.
That's crazy that happened. Just
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You have 500,000 people screaming the N-word. Yeah, but it was
How many people do you think were watching this doc were like, "Oh my god, I hope I don't show up in this footage"? Imagine getting canceled for a concert you went to for 22 years ago.
I don't think you can.
Good point, Ed.
I don't know,
I
bro.
would hope not.
Picture that.
Yeah.
Picture if like Bezos was there. You know what I mean? And he's in the crowd shouting that.
But I don't think I've ever seen, like, I've been to concerts and, like, obviously, like, comedy shows where there's, like, crowd play. I've never seen it to that scale.
Yeah.
Where it almost seemed it would be impossible. Like, I know they had different PA systems all on the way, but to have, like you say something and 500,000 people on cue say it, like, what they're supposed to say in that moment. It was, like, as an impromptu thing, it was like awesome to watch. I wish they were saying something else, But it was like still like holy shit, like everybody at that point was still so into the show.
So this is like this is when I am talking about where I think there was like a big agenda where they like focused on the negative part of this. So there was. So if you go back, like DMX's whole performance is on YouTube. I posted it a bunch of times after he passed away on like RIP blogs, and he does Rough Riders anthem, and it's the same thing. It's like he's literally, you know, DJ's cutting the music and he's dropping the mic and the crowd's like singing the chorus back to him, and it's like goosebumps.
Yeah.
Same thing, but they didn't show any of that in this. It was just, you know,
Yeah,
the
and I mean, I know
controversial
that's how docs work too. It's like once you find a couple good nuggets, and it's like, all right,
build on
hey,
that.
here's what we're gonna, here's the theme we're gonna take. The only thing I said, and listen, I'm this is, you could call me woke or whatever, but there was, and I don't know how you quantify this as being like the white male. I would just put it as rock fans, or just, I don't know, whatever kind of music you would say that was predominantly. People were mad at MTV when they started going the route of the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. That was
Yeah.
a thing.
Big
So for
time.
people to be like, and they didn't have to be like, oh, well, it was that white people are mad when NSYNC. I mean, there was that. Those are white people too.
Yeah.
You know, they used to be
Like
like rock fans.
Right. And
Those-
Well, it's
and
like
they-
new metal.
Yes.
New metal.
Yeah.
Like the Slipknot and the Korn fans, that was a real, like, they were fucking
Yeah.
mad when
And-
MTV started going that route.
Big time.
And they did like 5 or 10 minutes on that were about like TRL, how they would be like, all right, like now it's like Metallica is number 3, and who's number 2 and number 1 is NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and people were like fucking pissed about that.
Yeah,
and they
that was the
interviewed.
thing.
Yeah,
so I don't know. Everyone's like, oh, this is fucking bullshit. Trying to blame like that. There's some credence to that. There definitely is.
for sure. And then also like the geography matters too. You had it in like rural upstate New York. Who do you think lives in those areas? Like it's just, you know, like that's just the way it is. So, but yeah, they did try to. There were some things that were like very, very disturbing. And we haven't even touched on them yet.
100%. I mean,
all-
I think A1 was the girl thing.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah,
Like, I mean, it was savage behavior. Like,
Yes.
credit to the guy from Offspring
yep.
for saying that.
Like it's not cool.
No, yeah. I mean, people like girls crowd surfing, like, dude,
Right.
those guys, it was like hyenas, man.
Yeah,
Like, it was literal hyenas. Like, that was fucked up.
yeah.
But then I don't know what the line is where it's like, yeah, can that happen anymore? Can you tell someone to show their tits at a concert? I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Like,
well, it's also like they also like pan the crowd and everybody has their tits out.
yes.
So it's like it was so like normalized that like it's almost like that was Lord of the Flies. You know, I kind of feel like that was just like a moment in time, like the weather, the people, the music, the how many people, the chaos. You're intense. You're rolling in shit and piss. Like that is like the
Lawlessness. It's lawlessness.
and it brings out like the worst of humanity. So people, and you saw some of the people who were like interviewed on it, whereas and some, I can't remember what the guy said he did, but he was like, "Yeah, I can't believe I did that." And he's like,
he
"I would
broke
never."
into like the food truck
Oh,
and was
broke
like,
into the food truck and was throwing pretzels.
Yeah.
And it was like when they had like the giant fires.
yeah.
And they were like lighting, like pulling stages apart and lighting the plywood on fire. He's like, I just like, I'm such a, like, I've always been like a mild mannered guy.
But-
and he got caught in that moment.
Dude, I think it like hit the nail on the head. Like Lord of the Flies, you read the book. It's like you go back to your animalistic like
Yeah.
tendencies, and that's the same thing that a lot of these like Capitol protesters said. Is they were like, we went there, we thought we were going to like a rally, and then
All of a
one
sudden,
thing led to another,
Yeah.
and they're like, you know, I'm a CPA, I'm a CEO, and now like they're
Now
like
they're-
burning shit down and breaking
Right.
into the bill. Like, I don't know. I think
bad.
it's just lawlessness. I think it's
Yeah.
just like.
and there's just no way to control it. And they had even like the security team were wearing like the yellow shirts that just said peacekeepers, and they weren't doing shit. And they were like, hey, like we don't want people like to bring in outside water or things like that. But then they look in the bags and there's like all kinds of drugs. That's fine. So like they
Fucked
like
up.
Yeah, like they. And like that is part of like the concert. Like I think I told you guys I went to that James Taylor and
Jackson Brown
concert.
I'm so jealous.
It was
that
sick.
I missed that.
And even at that concert where like the average age was 65, you still smelled weed in the air. You know,
Dude,
like
they invented weed, man.
right. I know, but you would think that they're just so old, and like these people are wearing. Well, everybody. They had a lot of people in there. They had people literally in wheelchairs there.
Dude, those people got the
Smoking
best.
blunts.
Those people got the best weed in the world.
Yeah. So like that, like the drug thing is just going to be a thing, and especially at a concert like that. But it was lawlessness. It was just out of control. But they never even attempted to like.
The issue
make it in
is
control.
those people weren't bringing in weed because like
Yeah,
they would have. Weed would have been the best thing they could have done. They were bringing in like the shit that overheats you, like the MDMA.
Yeah.
And
What they used to call ecstasy.
yeah, which was huge. Like
back
around
then.
that time.
Yeah.
Which that whole rave part.
Yeah, I want real quick
right.
before we get into that, I want to talk about Roman real quick. Now the world's opening back up. So many new thrills are on the horizon. And whether you've been in a relationship for years or just getting started or excited to get back out there and meet new people, when the moment comes, you want to be ready. You want to be Roman ready. So to get Roman ready, go to getroman.com/barstool now to talk to U.S. licensed healthcare professionals, and they can evaluate with a free online evaluation to see if you need some erectile dysfunction medication. Roman Ready equals confidence, the confidence that you know can help you rise to the occasion in the moment. They offer free 2-day shipping, and the whole process is straightforward, convenient, and discreet. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/barstool and get complete on an online visit. Take care of your ED without leaving your home. Complete an online visit today to connect with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional and take care of it. Go to getroman.com/barstool today. And if you're prescribed, get 50% off your first month of ED treatment. Make sure you're ready to have confidence and control this summer. Get Roman ready. So do you think primarily the biggest issue with how this happened was the security situation?
No.
Or do you think it was overcrowding? What do you think was the big thing?
Well, I think it's a combination, right? I mean, the security didn't really give a shit, but they also seemed like they were totally unprepared from a numbers perspective to have any sort of crowd control at all. And I don't know what the numbers you would need for security for 500,000 people. It's just such an enormous number. Like, you think a Lolla is what, 100?
Yeah, but to finish your point, I
think that the like all like the things that you would think of as necessities to put on a concert like that and an event like that were back burner, like water, like showers, like toilets, like security. Like they just didn't give a. It seemed like they just didn't give a fuck, and they the documentary really did try to draw a line between the type of music that was at the first one in 1969 and the type of music that was there in 1999, and it is like just angrier. Like they made Limp Bizkit out to be the devil. They made him out to be the devil, but at the same time, like they're like that music that like it does make like the hair on your neck like stand up, like you get like jacked up. That's why that type of music is in like pregame college football locker room type stuff.
And that's what he's trying to do. When you're a fucking
Right.
artist, you're trying to get the crowd going.
Exactly.
No
So
matter
he's
how it
doing
is.
his job.
If the crowd is fucking doing shit and they're moving and they're not bored and they're out of it and you're like, you're going to go with it. You feed off that energy too, right? I mean, you know
100%.
you're a
Yeah.
fucking artist.
dude, so I've seen some shit, like a lot of shit in my life. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that crowd when Korn played, and it was like fucking waves.
Yeah.
But it was humans.
Yeah.
Like it was waves moving out throughout the crowd, and my jaw literally dropped. I was like, holy shit.
And the people were saying like you couldn't even fight against it. You would feel like getting lifted up by the crowd, and it was just like that's the type of thing where I would have like I don't have like claustrophobia, but if I'm not even in control of my own body, like I'm moving like an ocean tide on its own, like that.
Dude, part of me was like terrified of that. Part of me was like, I really wish I could have experienced that.
I wish I could have seen it from behind the stage. I don't want to be in the mess.
Dude, I've been in some of those like pits and crowds. It's fucking as long as you don't have assholes like throwing elbows and like punches and all that. Like the mosh shit is bad, but when people are just like going nuts, it's fucking awesome.
But that was definitely.
Well,
So back to like what you asked was what set all this off, or what like downward spiraled this thing. So the security issue, festivals like that were just absolute disasters literally bred new businesses. Like, I don't know if you've been to like a sporting event now, you've seen all these security people are outsourced. There's companies that formed. Securitas is one of them. I mean, they're all, no offense, they're basically a joke. I mean, they hire like crossing guards and they run them through a course and they license them. But these big event organizers and these teams and these festival, people that throw festivals, they hire these companies because it takes the liability off them. They assume all the liability. They have monster insurance policies, and they tell them like, this is what we need, like blah, 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 blah. They delegate it to their security. But if you've ever dealt with these people, it's a joke. They don't give a fuck. They're there like punching the clock.
Yeah.
And they
even said that like the security was really the difference between their biggest priority was making sure that the people who were in actually had tickets, where because in 69 and even in 94 they had a lot of people just like walking up and going over fences or finding like loopholes. So they wanted to make sure they had security, not to keep people safe, but to just make sure that the checks were clearing.
That was fascinating to me too, and that goes into like event planning and like throwing one of these. Is the construction of the venue. They were so pumped about the base, the military base, but like I didn't ever realize like how important trees are and grass, and not just being a fucking big parking lot
for sure,
where you're fucked if like
so hot.
If it's so, like, and it's miles and miles long, people going back and forth. That was fascinating.
That really blew my mind when they said the main stages were a mile apart.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
Do you know how far? Like, dude, Lolla, those two main stages, that's a hike. That's not a mile.
Yeah.
Like, a mile is a long fucking way to be going back and forth in 100 degrees all day long.
And
for 3
it's
days.
not just like you're walking a mile. Anybody could walk a mile. You're walking through chaos.
Yes.
Like your body, like people, they're so crowded. There's lines. There's like we talked about the porta potty situation. There's the tent area. Like it's not like it's a normal like you're going for a mile stroll. Like it's just like you're walking through chaos. The other thing about the crowds, I don't want to like forget this. When they had the people on top of the crowd on the plywood surfboards, that was like, what is going on here? And there were like dozens of them, like all the way back. People were like just riding that wave you're talking about, literally on a piece of plywood.
And then the promoter, that John Schur guy comes up to Fred Durst and is like, yo, tell these people to chill out. And he's like, no. And he like tells them to like get even crazier.
Yeah.
That's when you got to like pull the plug.
I mean, bro, that's Red Hot Chili Peppers. The mayor said the same thing, and they're like, "Oh, they went out and played fucking Stand by the Fire."
That's when you literally pull the plug. Like we had that happen at blackout shows. Like we had a place in Long Island literally pull the fire alarm on us because it got too crazy and they couldn't handle. Dude, we had so many. This will probably I'll probably get crucified for this, but we had so many like security issues, not on our end, but we would show up to these venues and me and Gaz would do these like walkthroughs with the owners or the bookers or whatever, and we'd be like, what about security? Oh, we're all set. We just had so and so here a few weeks ago.
Like,
no,
you don't get it.
No, you don't get it. And this is like the same thing that would happen with the Grand Cruise. Like they think like
they think it's a James Taylor concert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes into it, we did this show in like New Hampshire, like rural New Hampshire or Vermont, one of the two. And they had like bike rails up in front of the stage, and they had like there was like bar bouncers, like guys that are just like trying to get laid, didn't give a fuck. Dude, these kids rushed the stage, broke these bike racks, and took those bars in the middle and were like fucking swinging them, throwing them.
Jesus Christ.
Owner comes up, you gotta get on the mic, like tell everyone chill the fuck out or we're canceling the show. I mean, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
The fact that they were like, no, fuck you. Let's rile them up even more. That was nuts.
That is nuts. The rile them up even more. But can you imagine if on Saturday night, and you have one of these, huge bands on Saturday night, and they're like, hey, we're pulling the plug, like before Metallica or during Metallica, and you have 500,000 people being like, fuck you. Now you might have like a for real riot because now people are angry.
And then you got to worry about fucking refunds and shit. Like, it's gonna be that would be a mess. It's not legal to do 24 hours anymore, right?
No,
like there's no way.
But some of them,
That's crazy.
There's like this electric forest up in Michigan that goes like around the clock, and it's weird. But that surprised me when they showed Metallica going on at like 11:20 on Saturday night. I was like, dude,
what is happening?
That is so late. Like they probably played till like 1:30 in the morning. Like people must have been on another fucking planet.
It is kind of crazy too. Like these names just don't fit together. You know, like Counting Crows, Dave Matthews Band, Alanis Morissette, like they all played the same stage, like right before in Limp Bizkit, and then right before like Rage Against the Machine and Metallica. It's
But
like,
dude,
those seems like they should be two separate.
But these
like,
were the
concerts.
biggest names. Like Eddie said, like that lineup is insane.
Insane.
Yeah, Ice Cube.
You could keep going on and on.
Yeah.
But if you take out all the boy band pop shit, I mean, this was music in 1999.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
it
big
was.
time. Yeah.
Seriously,
Yeah.
you got a handful of rappers, but that was also funny. It's like Puffy like ruled the world back then, and the fact he flew in is just standing on stage when Limp Bizkit's
In a
playing.
Jason Williams jersey.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah.
So many like crazy scenes in that.
Yeah, the guy who was running it too kind of was he was kind of a clown, right? Like that. That guy was just everything he was saying. They had press conferences. That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
He's like, don't be part of the problem. Be the solution. Be the solution.
Dude, and I love how he like blamed it all. He was like, if MTV wasn't there, everything would have been fine. Yeah, dude, you know why? Because there was no social media or cell phone cameras.
Right.
Like, that's the only reason anyone knew anything happened there was because of MTV. Like, can you imagine if they had fucking Twitter back then?
Oh.
Like, they would be in jail.
Yeah. Well, that is another point where it's just like they said they had the one friend who tragically died, but then they're just like, if you lose your friend, the friend's gone. Like, there's no finding him. Like, good luck getting your way back to your tent. And then they show like the lines of payphones. And I was like, wait a second. Like, it's just like, I forget that, like, I lived during that time, but I forget that there was a time where you didn't just have your phone on you at all times. You'd be like, yeah, everything's fine. You call your buddy. Oh, I'm over here. Like, it's like the fact that you could just be like, well, we went to this concert together. Jim went to go get a water and disappeared for 72 hours. It's just like, it just blows your mind. Like, I hope he's alive.
Right? Yeah, they went for this mile-long trek. It's like, yeah, let me go to this lost tent, post up. Have you seen my friend White Sox Dave? It's like, who's like, that is crazy that was a thing.
And then you get back, and if it was literally White Sox Dave, you'd get back to your tent, and he'd have like 4 dudes in there with him.
Yeah,
Like, hey, I
exactly,
met these guys. They were cool.
But I will say, like, everyone says that's a big difference, too. There were no cell phones. However, I didn't go to Smokeout, so you guys could tell me, and I didn't go to Lala. Did you go to Lala?
No.
No. Cell phones don't work in those big crowds either, really. Like they like slow down a lot for the most part.
Yeah, I was able to use it.
Were
in
you?
Smokeout.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
I've
Like,
been in that situation.
You've
though,
I think it's notorious for like Vegas. My like phone never works there just because it's so many fucking people. So.
Yeah.
I know it's not exactly the same, but
Yeah.
it's not like things could go perfectly for you.
They're starting to
today's age.
require these big events that draw tons of people to boost, like bring in like cell phone boosters and all that.
Oh,
Because
really?
of like incidents like the Vegas shoot. Like if there was ever an
really?
emergency, like they want. So it's gotten better in the past, but yeah, it's still a nightmare.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think of more aspects here, but it was crazy, man. It was an eye-opening doc.
Dude, so one of the things that like really like kind of pissed me off was like the girl aspect. I mean, it was like disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh, it's despicable.
What was going on? But they were like making it seem like that was like a 90s thing where like, all these girls are running around body painted and completely naked, and like, dude, that has been going on at these festivals since the original Woodstock. That went on last weekend at Lollapalooza.
Yeah.
Like these girls, and at least the girls at Woodstock were like of age. Like Lollapalooza, it's like 16-year-olds running around in like fishnets. Like they wear one outfit out of the house, they bring a backpack, they get to the festival, they go in a porta potty, they come out with like nothing on.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's part of the reason I didn't go this weekend. Is it's just like,
I remember I was out. It's always like, I don't know. I was out visiting my parents, and they were out in the western suburbs, and I took the Metro in on like back into the city on like a Friday or Saturday morning. This was like 3 years ago, and I was like stunned. Like something changed because last time I was at Lolla was either 09 or 10, and I don't remember it being like all children and like none of them are wearing clothes. Like that was like it was a jarring thing for Lolla, and seems like even
it's the line they've been year by year like cultivating these lineups that like appeal to like younger and younger. And I mean it's basically like for people our age or our parents' age, it's like the headliners and that's it. Like other than that,
I don't know any of those people.
No, but I mean I was talking to Tom before you rolled in here, and like he was at Perry's stage all weekend, and it's just all like monster EDM acts, DJs, up and coming like EDM acts, and that's all these kids are dialed into. So they go there, they stay in that baseball field area all weekend, and you know, pop Molly.
I was gonna say that too. I also thought that was funny is that they pitched this and then they like try to show Coachella as some like euphoric experience.
What the fuck,
if it's not just a fucking big Molly fest where people take Instagram photos.
Dude, so
now
true.
what do we
have
do?
Coachella
Coachella and everything's fine.
I was gagging watching that.
Crazy.
Come on.
Crazy.
That was nuts.
And the gouging, the price gouging is like.
Do you think that this documentary will lead to like people being like, we should do that, but do it right?
They already are. I mean, dude, there's a
500,000.
I mean, you're right. Was it really that many?
That's
people?
what they said in the doc.
But I think that's the thing, though. They're doing it right because things have changed. That I don't know the way it appeared. I assume was there a VIP level?
No.
Yes,
Didn't look
that's what I'm
like it.
saying. That's what it was. Like you fucking bought a ticket. Everybody got the same experience. Now everything is so tiered.
Yeah.
And it's like if you want this, we'll give you a couch. If you want this, we'll give you this private section. That's the wild, wild west of like, hey, we'll just throw these people in a military pit. It's not going to happen.
I think I think that's because it's tied into the phones and social media too. Like people want to be able to like put on Instagram that like, I was in the VIP part of it, you know, like that kind of thing. Like that and I think that's part of the appeal of making those available.
Dude, it's
too.
the worst.
Yeah.
It's like I saw more pictures of people posting piles of like their VIP wristbands and like production passes and all this shit last weekend, like flossing, like, you know, I got it like that, than I did of like actual like
shows
them at the shows.
Yeah.
Can I be honest, though? I think you kind of have to, though. If you know someone that went to Lollapalooza and you see these videos and these pictures of these fucking wall-to-wall people standing like a fucking crayon in a 64 box and you know they're not in a VIP, I lose respect for you. What are you doing there? Unless if you're you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's going like that's crazy. I'd be like, hey, just so you know, I went to Lolla, but like I wasn't standing there like a maniac in a fucking crowd of 100,000 of people. But I don't know. I don't know, man. It was fascinating.
Were there any acts that you saw there that you were like, oh, that would have been fucking great to take in? If you could have flown in via helicopter, saw that act, and then flown right out, who would it have been?
In that experience,
Yes.
like that in the chaos?
Yes.
I think it's DMX. Like I hate to say it, but like that was the part of the documentary. I was like, this is unbelievable that he's getting like this. Like he might be the only person in human history to have that type of like reaction with that many people. It felt like he was ready to lead like an army against they're just gonna swoop down and conquer Rome. Like that's what it felt like, and it was gonna be DMX leading the charge. It was crazy.
I'd probably pick The Offspring. I like a lot of their music. That was on Friday. It was a little more chill.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I think I would be in for that.
Dude, they're fucking awesome.
They're
By the way,
great.
do you know they're like nuclear scientists, like physicists?
No.
What?
Dude, Dexter Holland has like, I think he has like a master's from MIT.
Get the fuck out
Swear
of
to
here.
God, they're brilliant. They're like nuclear physicists. I'm positive. Look it up.
I'm pulling it. I'm trying to pull
we
it up
forgot.
right now.
We forgot one fucking jaw-dropping part.
Okay.
And listen, I know it's maybe wrong or whatever, but the fact that he said this was like, oh my God, it was Kid Rock. What he said about Clinton and Lewinsky, it was like, what a different time, dude.
I know, right?
Fucking maniac.
Now he's like the biggest Trumper ever.
What a maniac.
Yeah.
But yo,
What was the quote though?
He's
was
Monica Lewinsky is a hoe, and Bill Clinton is a pimp.
the crowd goes bananas.
It's like, oh my God, dude, what are we doing here?
Yeah. That was
dude, it's
crazy.
It's revisionist history though.
Yeah.
Like if you don't think in 20 years we're gonna look back on like shit from the last like 2 years and be like, what the fuck were we doing? Like, you're crazy.
I hope we're like that. I hope we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
were we
if
doing?
the aliens don't wipe us
I
out
got,
first.
Yeah, I got the Holland bio here.
Yeah,
All right, so this is the lead singer. This is blowing my mind. So
smart dude, right?
Pacifica High School, California, graduated as valedictorian in 1984. He was the best student in mathematics. Blah blah blah. He found it just as exciting as rock. He goes to USC where he gets, and then he got a PhD for molecular biology. And then he's just like, well, I'm just gonna go be a rock star.
Well, all right, and then the other main guys are like just as smart.
That is crazy.
So you know what? Speaking of Kid Rock, you know what part had me dying, Ed, was that they had Vern Troyer introduce them.
yeah.
Ed, I know you were a big Surreal Life guy.
Oh, fuck
We've
yeah.
talked about this
Yeah.
before. Anytime I see Vern Troyer, dude, he was so big back then.
Oh, dude, he was massive. I mean, dude, the Austin Powers movie still to this day is like still some of the most slept on movies of all time.
I feel like they're still super quotable too. And quoted.
Oh yeah, dude, character wise too, like Dr. Evil, that guy.
Oh yeah,
like come on. I don't know, man.
But they like barely touched on a lot of the stuff that wasn't like music disaster there. Like the fact that they had like stand-up comics like Andy Dick doing like pieces in between, and they were like,
Dick was horrible.
and he was like, Andy, he just was out there like motherfucking the crowd the whole time. Dude, that was the other thing. Could you believe all the bottles that were getting thrown on stage while these
the
people
Offspring
playing?
guy got hit in the face,
Dude, and they just kept playing. Like, there's shit all around them, fucking projectiles flying at them. Like, it was just a different time. It was a totally different time.
Do you think it is that different of time? I think if that might just be human nature. If you get the same level of people, the same types of music with that, it was like a perfect storm. I think it would be very similar if they did a show like that. One
thing I wish they did. I've been trying to. So I'm writing this review blog on it, and I've been trying to find a way to not verify this, but to check it. I wish they did like a inflation scale, so that they kept harping on like $4 waters, $4 waters. And
what
it's
would
like,
that be now?
what was that equivalent to like back then? Like they didn't even talk about what these festival ticket prices were.
I think they
true.
said it was 180, right?
I didn't catch that.
I thought they said it was
I
180.
didn't catch that.
Which, dude, that's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a
Yeah.
lot of money today
Oh,
for
yeah.
a 3-day
Yeah.
festival. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
shitload back then.
Yeah.
Which that makes it even crazier that you got that type of like shitbag
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
demographic.
Oh yeah.
Because that's not just opening the floodgates to anybody. Like that's a decent amount of money.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I wonder what the equivalent like was. It $16? You know, like, I don't. You're right. Like
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
know for
that
a
would-
water.
And I don't know, 4 and 4. I guess beer should be higher than water.
Probably.
Yes.
Probably.
Yes. That part was like, man, who did the fucking math on this?
Yeah. Well, then I love the part where they cut to the promoter. He's like, yeah, like we had showers, we had plenty of things, and then they cut over to like where the shower setup scene, and they're like, yeah, like when you went to take a shower, like the water was up to your knees, so you're just standing there in like literal filth of other people. It's just like this is just
Great. And that's where I say, like, yeah, I think you're right. Like the human nature of throwing shit, maybe like ripping shit apart. But I hope the human nature of like peeking over the girls' stalls and shit like that.
I would hope.
I hope we've come further than that.
I would hope.
Dude, no, we haven't. Guys are scum, dude. Like, and that's the other thing. You didn't like. Everyone was so horned up back then because there was no internet. Like porn was just like in its infancy back then. So like that's why like Maxim and FHM were so huge back then, because it was like
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, but I remember another thing too that I actually wrote a note about this. The fucking people that flipped the trash cans over and were banging on them nonstop. I would have murdered them. I would have fucking murdered them. That part,
Yeah.
I was like, those guys, like, they're nihilists. They need to go.
That was bad.
Yeah.
And the rave part,
The rave.
Also, Moby, take a hike, dude.
he's just miserable.
Yeah. I mean, what?
He just is.
Don't tell me you didn't see the lineup before you signed up to play.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's insane.
And then I love how he's like, we got the fuck out of there right away. It's like, no, you showed up like on Friday. You played that rave thing on Sat. You were there for like 2 days.
Yeah.
You got out after you got paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing with Carson Daly was like, yeah, they told us they couldn't guarantee our safety, so we just booked it.
Dude,
So
that was funny. Like, watch, he was such a villain.
Yeah.
That was like, but the rave, when they casually dropped it, they had a rave hanger.
yeah, overnight. Yeah, in case you wanted to in case Metallic at 11:20 wasn't enough, you can cool off over at the rave tent. Yeah,
The rave hanger. It was a
hanger.
hanger that they turned into like.
Stick a glow stick in your mouth and chill out, and then we'll fucking go to your tent for an hour of sleep, and then walk 2 miles back to the other stage in the morning.
What a
Wyclef
time.
Jean.
it's crazy that more people didn't die. If you think about
See,
it.
that's what I was
Only
wondering.
3.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't like shout him out at the end either.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Like in memorandum.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, those pits, man. Like, if you went down, you're done.
Yep.
Done.
You could trample.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Interesting nonetheless. That's it. We'll wrap it up here. Go check out Barstool Backstage on the website, or just go check out Dante's Twitter. I'm sure we'll all be pumping it. So go check that out. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the recap. That's today's free swim. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.